Alrighty then, we'll have to discuss it. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, well. Hey there, folks. Welcome back to some more Child of Light. And we're fighting some sea critters.
Fighting the water bad guys.
Yeah, we got these weird, lanky mermen, as I like to say.
They're very similar. Like, I wonder where
Also
the
similar to,
idea.
like sea monkeys.
I was gonna say it looks like a sea monkey. But like Harry Potter did mer people in a similar fashion.
Yeah, they did. They looked more like
They were-
seaweed.
Very seaweedy, and they moved like sharks. So they moved like their bodies side to side like a shark would, as opposed to like up and down like a person.
Yeah. Well, mermen usually are depicted as kind of like frog-like creatures. They kind of move very frog-like when they swim.
They don't have legs though.
Yeah, they do. Some of them do.
Or like sea creature merman?
Yeah, like Sahagin.
Okay. I was thinking like mythical, half human, half fish.
So you think like merfolk.
Yeah, I was thinking like the traditional merfolk.
Okay, because I'm picturing like the Castlevania. Back me up here, guys. The Castlevania mermen, the fishmen. Like they just have like fish and they have the webbed feet. They look like the creature of the Black Lagoon.
Yeah. Like when you give it context and some reference, it makes sense because not
Yeah.
all like mer people are half fish, half people. Like
Mermaids usually are the ones with the Poseidon as well. Poseidon and like his
well,
merfolk.
it's like that style of mermaid,
Yes.
which is siren-esque, I guess. Like
Perhaps, yeah.
yeah. I know when we were doing some research on the sirens are actually like part chicken.
Yeah, they're closer to birds. Mm-hmm. And then you got like water nymphs.
Yeah,
It's like there's
where they all
kind
kind of like get lumped together as mermaid.
And if you're familiar with this channel since the beginning, we did a little series called the Creature Collection.
Yes, which
And
we
we're
will be
revamping
picking
it.
up.
Yeah, we're going to be revamping it in these upcoming months.
Just kind of reworking it to make it a little bit more interesting for you guys to watch because honestly, it's one of my favorite things to do is like look up the creatures and
Yeah.
learn about them and how to use them and like creating. Mm-hmm. So
Well, it's one of my favorite things to do in our RPG making, aside from writing characters, is putting in the monsters
Yeah.
and making very interesting battles. Fun boss battles, interesting fights.
Yeah.
Where like all these colorful creatures and grotesque and creative monsters are taking you on.
see, you're very much like the gaming aspect. I love the idea of like putting them in a story.
Yeah.
Like giving them a character and like
Yeah, I usually like making them the obstacle, and that's the end of it. These fish creatures, on the other hand, they're a little more peculiar.
yeah.
They can turn their body into a bow and fire their spines at you.
Huh.
And that is how they attack.
I don't think I faced those ones.
No, they're quite frequent in this area, so I'm sure you...
Maybe it was a long,
Stopped by
it was a while ago.
Yeah, see? Deadly Scales, he just arches back and flings a spine at you.
I wonder if I just didn't
But don't
realize
worry.
or understand that that's what he was doing.
Lightning, baby!
I very much
Finn is
appreciate that
amazing
he
in this final
has
chapter.
he has the top half of a fish with like people legs.
Yeah, he's closer to the Sahagin,
Yeah.
to what they look like, whereas the other thing looks like a sea nymph or like a
Well, I
classic
feel like
sea monkey.
the typical merfolk idea of like the top half is human, the bottom half is a fishtail. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's the very romanticized
Yeah.
version of a mer person.
Whereas the Sahagin is like the water demons.
Yeah, where they're not supposed to be like alluring. They're like, I will kill you,
Yeah, they're threatening.
and I can run at you because I got legs.
Yep. And we're intelligent and we're sneaky. Like in Castlevania, in some of the games, they'll sit at the bottom, waiting in the water, and they'll squirt water to knock you off platforms.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that on the game that you got for Christmas. They squirt water.
Yeah, that's right. Legacy of Darkness.
Did he go out?
It's been a while.
He's doing.
It's been a couple hours.
He's doing his I gotta go routine.
Well, he just had some like wet food, or he's thinking it's like flying through him.
No, he was doing that a little bit before we gave him his wet food.
Oh, was he?
All right, buddy.
Okay. Give us like 10 minutes, okay?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, he's doing the
Yeah.
outside dance.
Do a little dance. Make a little
poo.
love. I was going for the. Lost my train of thought there. Ah, look, a statue of an anglerfish.
I know, buddy. I'm excited about it too.
Anglerfish is one of your favorite creatures.
It is. I love the anglerfish.
That's one of the reasons why I chose your first Zelda game.
Because there's an angler
I was just
boss.
like, oh, there's an anglerfish in this. She'd love it.
I know. I was getting frustrated at that point, and I was like fed up with the fighting, and I was just doing really bad. And you were like, you'll like this boss, and I'm like, what? Is it gonna be an anglerfish? And then I like sunk down in this giant anglerfish, and I was like, ah, it is an anglerfish.
Yep. I mean, the dungeon is called Angler's Grotto, so
Yeah.
or Angler's Tunnel. So it's like, oh, cool. That game as a whole doesn't really have my favorite bosses of the series, but some of them were kind of unique and fun.
Yeah, I mean, like, each one had their own, like, benefit and disadvantage, like, and it's almost funny, like, how silly I would feel after figuring out how to do it, like, of how frustrated I would get. And you're like, listen, just do this. And I would do that, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this isn't so bad.
Bosses in Zelda games, for the most part, revolve around using the tool in some way to take them out.
Yeah.
Whatever tool you get in that dungeon, you have to use that to make them vulnerable, to then finish the fight.
Well, it's like for the cheeseburger one, the cheeseburger worm.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
He looks like a cheeseburger, and he's a worm. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's the first boss.
Yeah, he's the
that
first
you
boss.
face. But, like, he has a very, like, evident spot that you have to hit. Like,
'Cause it
his
glows.
tail glows red. So it's like, I'm gonna hit it
Yeah.
and see what happens. So it's very, like, clear that that's where you hit. Whereas, like, the one where you can't hit its face, you have to hit it from behind.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, like, tell. It's
See-
literally like you have to hit it and fail and try something else. So I think that's what annoys me a little bit is like
Well, it's interesting hearing that from the other
because
side.
it could also be like, okay, maybe I should hit it in the face but use a different weapon. Like there's so many different ways that you could be wrong.
There are.
So I feel like that's very frustrating for someone who's new. Where it's like, okay, so I threw a fireball at his
Yeah.
face and it didn't work. Okay, let me try to slash him with a sword and that didn't work. And let me try to throw a bomb at him and that didn't work. And then it's like, you die so many times because, like, it doesn't work and he hits you.
Yeah.
So,
But, like, that's part of the puzzle and, like, part of the fight, because once you figure it out, like, the battle goes smoothly. And, again, I don't know if it's because you're a newcomer, but that's a common complaint with, like, veterans of just, like, oh, wow, it's glowing. Why don't you just beat the boss for me? Like, people are insulted that, like, a spot is glowing or, like, there's a clear eye that you have to shoot.
There's also the fact that, like, this game was for, the Game Boy Advance, which is typically
Game Boy Color.
Children's game, it's for kids. So you have
Yes.
some 40-year-old dude being like, oh, well, why don't you just beat him? All right, Bill. It's meant for little Timmy. Cool your jets. Like,
Yeah, you're right on that.
so there is a certain, like, age bracket to think
Yeah.
of, too. Whereas, like, I feel as though I am going to play more like a child because I don't have the knowledge built up behind myself yet.
Right. No, I get you. But, yeah, other games have different strategies and different ways about their bosses. Zelda bosses, 9 games out of all of them, out of 10, well, there's well more than 10, but like the majority are use a tool, take them out. And like, honestly, the alternative, and like I'm in the minority here, the battles just aren't that fun because anything can kill them. So it's kind of like, okay, this is my strategy. Works for me. I never feel like I'm threatened because anything works.
See, I really...
And those bosses are still not built around just having a concrete battle.
Yeah.
They're just about like one strategy, but now anything can hurt them.
See, I like... It's not even
So I'm torn.
necessarily that, like, for me, that the character has to have, like, a really obvious glowing point. Like, there was the one with the giant eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like, you hit him in the eyeball. Like, you know you have to hit him in the eyeball because it's really the only thing you can hit.
Yeah.
But you have to charge him.
Yeah.
So it does have that, like, trial and error, but not so much so that you're going to die repetitively.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have something like that.
Okay.
Where it's like, you know where you have to go, and then fighting is the challenge.
Gotcha.
Not fighting and where you have to go.
I am just obliterating these guys with Finn's super thunder spell.
Finn and Robert were the two that I used the most.
Finn becomes my MVP in this last part of the game, and I also use Jen, Rubella, and Doangus a lot. I use a little bit of Robert, but not too much. And poor Tristus.
I don't think I ever used Tristus.
I used Tristus once in the bluest of moons.
I'm just
and
like,
I
Tristus, you're in the
swap him
party.
back.
Like, you're more than welcome, fam. Go sit in the break room, but like...
Yeah. I feel bad for Tristus sometimes. It's just like, well, maybe you should have had more than just unstoppable and slow.
Well, I was gonna say not only that, but like he is
Armor.
a slow character, so
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
even using
he's
unstoppable,
quite a bit
he's interrupted.
slower compared to Rubella.
You know, he's interrupted all the time, so it's just kind of like, well,
Yeah, I think it would have benefited for him to be faster than Rubella instead of slower. Maybe you'd use him more. But then again, maybe it would kind of break the game
yeah.
to use unstoppable that easily.
Another anglerfish.
No, that's the same one.
Oh.
I just went off to the right and around. Now I'm
Okay.
going to the left and down.
You know, I don't know why I don't have a tattoo of an anglerfish.
I don't either. You should probably work on that. I think that'd be very cool. And
Yeah.
like make the lantern like very vibrant.
Glowy. Well, I don't have any colored tattoos.
Then that would be your first, to where it would be like a dark tattoo and just the lantern
Just
would be
the
glowing.
lantern, like
That
no
would be the
other
single
colored
color.
tattoos. Just one glowing little light bulb. Where would I put it?
I have some ideas, but we'd have to turn off the microphone.
Well, I feel like the ideas that you have, that spot's already taken.
Really? Alrighty then, we'll have to discuss it. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, well,
I think you're blushing.
I think I am too. You might be onto something. Anyways, Finn, please eradicate this rabble. Get rid of them, if you please. But, alright, what would you say is the ideal boss fight, then? To where it's fair, but it's not easy, and there's an understanding. You don't even have to give an example, just, like, describe how the ideal boss would play out.
So I think, that, like, for me, it would be, follow a pattern. Like, if you're gonna have a boss, but you want it to be challenging, like, make the fight a challenge, but not figuring out what you have to do as a player.
Okay.
Like, to me, that's very frustrating and it's annoying. I don't feel good after the boss battle when that happens. I feel just annoyed, like, I don't want to play anymore. I need to cool off, or else I'm just gonna be pissed off and I'm not gonna have fun.
Alright.
So it's like... And I think that's why I might like RPGs the most, because they do typically follow the pattern of, like, this is a dark creature. It's going to be sensitive to light. So you already know kind of like a strategy going in.
Okay.
So, and then during the fight, like, of course it's going to be definitely much stronger than you.
Most times, yeah.
But you have to have some sort of benefit.
Okay.
And either, like, finding it, like, are you faster than the monster? Like, are you... does your sword hit harder? Something. Like, you have to have something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't much care for, like... Kind of like in this one, where it's the griffin, where you were literally... Was it the griffin?
I don't know.
I think
Keep talking.
I think it was the griffin, where you were just, like, literally hitting it over and over and over and over and over and over, and it just, like, wasn't taking any damage. Like, it just took so incredibly long.
Might have been the griffin.
That it to a point where I'm just like, I'm bored now. Like, it's boring to watch. It's boring to play. Like, when you hit it so hard over and over and it just doesn't take any damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's got to be little nuggets of rewards throughout the battle to make you want to keep going.
Okay.
So, and I think that was, like, my biggest complaint with the Shadow Boss in the Link's Awakening. Whenever I, like, I died, I'm not even kidding, more than 15 times trying to fight that boss. Where there was just nothing. Like, it didn't give you any hope. Like, it was just frustrating. It was very frustrating. So, like, my ideal boss would be not necessarily, like, give you all the answers. Like, still figure out what weapon or what attack you have to use or in what order you have to hit them. Or like, I think Trials of Mana did a really good job.
Okay.
Where it's, like, you can attack the boss, but, like, as soon as the, like, pillars would come up, like, with Zanbi, you can continue to hit the boss because you know that's what you have to do. But it's not taking damage anymore. So you quickly realize, like, oh shit, I have to go over here. So, and then it becomes a timing thing of, like, okay, I have to get here, that one, kill it, and then get to the next one, and you have to put them all out before they go out.
Yeah.
So you do have to have strategy. You do have to understand your characters, whose strongest point that would be, who's weaker there. So, like, I wasn't going to use Reese. She didn't hit as hard. I was going to use Kevin. Because he could hit it 3 or 4 times and it would... And then run to the next one.
Yeah.
So it's like... It's fun. And it's high intensity because you're like, am I going to make it? There's always that chance of, like, you just don't make it in time.
Right.
But, like... Also knowing that I haven't attempted, like, Dark Souls or anything like that. But I'm not a big...
They don't care.
I'm not a big fan of games that are like, I will crush you. Like,
right.
The whole point of a game is to have fun. And, like, if it's too much of a challenge...
The whole point of a game is to keep you putting quarters in and to challenge you
as a buyer.
Hold the ending away
as
from
a
you.
buyer, the whole point of a game is to have fun.
Okay.
You don't buy a game thinking, like... Oh, this is a lot of money to spend on a game and I'm never going to see the end. I'm going to buy it. No, you look at it and you're like, hey, this looks fun. Ooh, this looks cool.
It's also like challenge accepted.
So it's like, but those things, like, if you make it too hard, it's not fun anymore.
Okay.
So I think, like, that's the biggest thing for me is, like, you have to have at least a little glimmer of hope that you can succeed.
All right.
Or else, why bother? No one likes to fail.
Well, failure is important.
Failure is very important.
You learn by failing.
But when you die in a boss battle or on a level 130 times, you kind of don't want to play anymore.
It can be like that, or you just need to cool down and try again.
There's no save option.
Yeah.
Time to take your medicine.
All right, we'll come back in the next part, and we'll resume with some more Child of Light.
Woo!
And take the dog out.
He's gotta go.
Bye-bye.